I just want to talk about something that we all feel. I think most of us, we can sense, and we've always sensed this truth. Our insight has always told us that life isn't that wonderful, right? I think our instincts have always told us that perhaps we shouldn't be so attached to this life in general. Now, of course, I have to make this disclaimer. This isn't some sort of doomer, woe is me type of deal, right? This is the truth. We are engaging in truth. This isn't just some, this isn't just some pity party we are engaging in today. But, after living for a while, experiencing what, pretty much what everybody experiences while being alive, I have come to this conclusion, and perhaps you have reached this same conclusion as well, but to me, after living for this amount of time, I've concluded that, having been born was a mistake. Having been born was a mistake. And I'm not saying this from a place of sadness. I'm not saying this from a place of depression or grief or sorrow or woe is me. This is just absolute fact. This is not about emotions whatsoever. This is absolutely based solely on logic, common sense, rationale, you name it. Okay, this isn't just some, I had a bad day, let me rant about. No, this is an accumulated philosophy based on years of experience. And to prove to you that this isn't just some cry of help or whatever, I have had like pretty much everybody else, I have had good moments in life. I have had minor successes here and there. I'm not terribly sick, and my health has never been in a terrible state. I've never been rich, but I have been well off on occasion. I used to have friends. I used to have relationships. I wasn't bullied like to an extreme, but I was bullied, but nothing to the extreme. I was never popular, but I got along with people. So this isn't just the conclusion of somebody who just had a tough time through and through. I had good moments in life, like everybody else. Nothing too outstanding, but so this isn't just because I'm just literally just unlucky as hell. This is just my conclusion. I have concluded that life isn't such a incredible experience, and I think we have to be mature about this. We have to be adults and just, hash this out. Because generally speaking, you probably know this. You can't talk to normal people, normies about this subject. They will think something is wrong with you. When you tell them, if I were to tell a normie NPC, life is kind of lame, actually. Having been born was a mistake. I wish I was never born. They will just lose their minds. They don't understand such a concept, right? Because they think in their little brains that just being alive and doing all of the things is the greatest thing ever. It isn't, of course. We know, I guess this community, generally speaking, knows that existence in of itself isn't so magnificent, isn't so extraordinary. But, the problem is, generally, that you can't talk to average people about this because they will be threatened. Normal people, and this is not meant to belittle or mock anybody, but normal people who don't normally think deeply about things, they have never considered such a topic. They have never really analyzed life from a different point of view, from a different perspective. They haven't really looked at life with a different lens, as we have. But normal people, they cannot really envision that such a thing is possible. If you tell somebody that, I think life is kind of overrated, existence is kind of stale, no matter what you do. I think that being born in general is kind of a tragedy in of itself, and I think that people who bring children into this hell of an existence, I think they are a bit mindless, and I think that having children is kind of a crime against humanity. If you tell somebody this, they will think that you're some kind of nut job, right? What I'm saying is that most people, they are not able to understand such a thing because most people, they are afraid of the darkness. They are afraid of the opposite. They are afraid of negativity. They are afraid of silence. They are afraid of being alone. And most of all, they are afraid of the truth. Because most people, they chase the sunshine. Most people, they want to be in the limelight. Most people get a sort of high on positivity, and whenever the contrast or the opposite emerges, they just run away. They can't handle it, and of course, because if most people accept the truth that existence is kind of overrated, let's be honest, I think it would break them. It would shatter them, because it's just such a challenge, such a hurdle to overcome when you admit to yourself, I'm not really that important. I'm not really that relevant. I'm not special in any way. Not only my existence, but life in general. Everybody and everything. You tell me why there's such a difference between, a human life and the life of an insect. Why do we value a human's life more than an insect's? It's the essential, the essence. It's life, because we're bigger. If you look around, most people aren't, a walk in the park. Most people are a nightmare. So there is absolutely no difference in terms of value between a human life and the life of an insect. Okay, to me at least. And generally speaking, most people who kind of come to this realization that life is overrated, and they what's truly fascinating is that you do not have to go through the most excruciating torture or whatever to arrive at this conclusion. You just have to have a functioning brain, I would say. You have to have a tendency for truth, for facts. And, you have to have the integrity to just not accept the status quo. It takes strength of character to just dismiss sugarcoating and just see things for what they really are, even though the truth might hurt, even though the truth might break some of your illusions, right? But most people who come to this realization, they don't talk to anybody about this because They will be viewed as different, weird, a bunch of freaks. Usually, if you tell somebody that you consider that, you know, having been born was a mistake, they will automatically reach for, you know, the cliche that, oh, there has to be something wrong with you. What happened to you? Did you go through a breakup? Did you lose your job? How are you emotionally, mental health wise? They will automatically conclude that perhaps you're depressed, perhaps you're suicidal, perhaps hormonal in a sense. There's some sort of chemical imbalance, and I am here to tell you that that such a thing is not occurring in my case. I am completely lucid. I'm actually pretty upbeat, generally speaking. So, you know, this is just something that has to be said. Okay. The fact that I was born is unfortunate. You see, because I wasn't asked, of course, my consent wasn't taken into account. I was just put here without my say-so. I was thrown here into this suspicious and questionable reality where a lot of bad stuff happens. A lot of bad stuff happens here. And, you know, and all of us here, we are put here, and we are powerless, and we are mindless children, and we don't know anything about anything. And we go through life just bumping into everything and making so many mistakes and just suffering for it. And you might bring the argument, well, you see, people need obstacles in life. They need to suffer so that they may grow and learn and mature. And I would say, yes, that is true, absolute facts. But the problem is that most people, they do not learn from their mistakes. Actually, most people keep on repeating their mistakes, no matter how much they suffer, no matter the obstacle or hardship. Okay? So we are put here, and we just have to deal with it. And most people, unfortunately, continue on living because, I mean, what else is there really? You know, the problem is that most of us, we lack what it takes to remove ourselves from this predicament. This is a dilemma that we know the answer to, but we can't really go through with it because, well, in a sense, because we're cowards, okay? Let's just say it how it is. Our cards on the table. The survival instinct is so fierce, so strong that even if you wanna remove yourself from existence, something keeps you. Something just keeps you here, right? And you cannot escape. Most of us, we cannot escape. Like, I think that there are only two things that prompt a person to take their own lives. Number one, it is absolute despair, where you reach a point where you just cannot function anymore. You just want everything to stop. Okay, so one way is to experience the height of despair, and number two is that you are just so done with everything, so bored. You are just so unimpressed and indifferent with everything that somehow psychologically you induce your own physical death through your brain. You're just so indifferent with everything that your body slowly shuts down. So I think these are the only two things that prompt somebody to take out themselves, right? And listen, I'm gonna show you that life isn't all that's cracked up to be. Okay, because of course I am not somebody that has experienced the worst of the worst. Of course, nowhere near. But after a while, if you are a sane person, I think that you can discern that what we do here and what we occupy ourselves to distract ourselves from the truth, it's just that we distract ourselves with occupations, whatever they may be, so that we do not have to face the abyss, the void. Okay? And you think, you know, living, as if this day is your last day, as if every day is your last day. You think that that is the way to go. You think that that is the ideology that will keep you going. But even that becomes a toil. It becomes repetitive. It becomes mundane, monotonous. So it cannot last. You think traveling will just give you a breath of fresh air. You think that if you switch jobs and get more and more money, you think that if you just chase prosperity and you're on that quote grind set, you think that this will keep you going. You think that if you sleep with a different person every day, you think that if you have orgies every day, you think that that will improve your mental state dramatically and you will just have this lust for life. No, you will get bored of this. These are only distractions meant here to distract you from the fact that everything is dull here. It's bland. Okay, the novelty of everything will die down eventually. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay? People get bored of what they have. People get bored of their accomplishments, so they keep on chasing higher and higher thrills, better and better, newer and newer, and when they attain them, they're not satisfied, they're not happy, and they keep on running in this marathon, deluding themselves into thinking that the next hurdle, the next achievement, the next trophy, the next upgrade will improve the emptiness that you feel on the inside. Well, let me tell you, that hole will never be filled because we all know the truth. Okay? We all know the truth. That living, being born, is a pretty raw deal, right? Once you get a bit older, you start to realize just how bland everything is, just how stale it is. Everything is a chore. Everything is a drag. The real problem here is that even if you have hobbies, even if you have certain passions, whatever they may be, even if you pursue a path of higher goals that aren't materialistic or whatever, it all has a toll on you. You get weighed down over the years. Time will ravage you. It's basically we keep on trucking so that we do not stop and see that everything is for naught. For nothing. Basically, everything is for nothing. We do all of the things that we do so that we do not have to focus on the only truth, which is that, man, life is a drag, folks. And I'm saying this with integrity. I'm saying this with absolutely no hidden motives, or I'm not trying to start some drama. This is just, after living for a while, folks, I have to say this. Life is a drag. Life is a chore. Who would want this, And you might have brilliant experiences. You might have a wonderful sex life. You might have great friends. You might be good financially. You might travel here and there. You might have what is referred to as a pretty nice life, huh? And still, even though you have all of these things, and in theory you should be kind of happy, kind of fulfilled, kind of satisfied, you still feel that something deep inside is just eating at you. It's just like, and you don't know what that is. What I'm here to tell you what that is. That is this knock at the door trying to tell you that pretty much everything is kind of a chore, folks. Everything is just so banal, mundane, mediocre, whatever it is. It is just after a while everything gets boring, everything gets stale. This is not doomer stuff I'm talking about here. This is not depressive stuff. This is absolute facts. And anyone who says otherwise, I don't want to call you a dummy or an optimist or an idealist. I think that you refuse to think about things in a certain way. You only see the positive. You only see the beautiful side. But the problem is that this positive, uplifting sunshine, it does not last. And all you have left is this infinity of darkness, this nothingness, right? This is what happens if you are a person who engages in critical thinking, right? I know people, they are so occupied all the time, multitasking, busy bees. They have two phones at the same time. They know everybody. They're always on the move, going from this venue to that venue, always messages, always texting, they're always wrapped in something. And I'm looking at these people and I'm just, these people are so afraid to stay still and just look at the void that they would do anything else. They would run continuously for the remainder of their lives so that they don't have to face the truth, which is that, everything is overrated, folks. It's so tiring. Existence itself is tiring. Living is just withering us away. This is not, even though the internet might tell you differently, this is not doomer philosophy. This is absolute truth. This is not to gain any following or whatever. This is how it is. And most people, they refuse to see it, to accept it, to feel it, to embrace it. Right? If you tell somebody this, they will look at you funny because they will think that something is wrong with you. By this point, folks, when it comes to me, having lived a decent amount of years, I'm just so over everything. I just don't care about anything. I don't do anything generally. I stay in bed for as long as I can, and the entire weekend I just stay in bed. That is heaven to me. I don't want to do anything. I don't want anything from anybody. I want to be left alone. This is the greatest. This is the greatest thing ever. It's beautiful, right? This is what life amounts to in the end. This is what life amounts to in the end. And you might be rich, you might be gorgeous, you might be popping off, and still, this is the conclusion to everything. The finale, right? And you might say, well, it's not the destination, it is the journey. Well, let me tell you, the journey is a bit stale in of itself. Like, yeah, you have all of these adventures, but they tend to repeat. It doesn't matter if you meet new friends. It doesn't matter if you pick lane B instead of lane A. I'm basically talking about RPGs now, right? It doesn't matter. You think the journey matters and not the destination. The destination should be the cherry on top, but the journey itself, right? Whatever it is, how you grow up, your school, your friends, your family, the education that you pursue, the college, your profession, your vocation, how much money you make. Maybe you get married, have kids, uh, your hobbies, your passions. That's good for a while, folks. And this is it. When we're young, we're just so, in a way, brainless. Everything is new, everything is fresh. And we're all so immersed, we're so invested, we're so seduced. We're always flirting with this journey. But after a while, you can see, like, if you have the brain power, you can see that everything repeats. Everything might look different, might feel some slightly different, but in their essence, they are the same, and they repeat over and over again. Okay, and after a while, I would assume that most people would get bored of it, like I have. I mean, I think this is a natural reaction, right? People think that going to Disneyland is wow. My God, you could not pay me to go to Disneyland, folks. What a tremendous waste of time. My God, I would rather stay in bed. Go to Disneyland. Disneyland. It's such a tragedy. This is the greatest truth ever, if we're being honest, that life in general is life, folks. Life in general is a tragedy. Life in general is a bittersweet tragedy because we refuse to see things for what they really are. We keep on deceiving ourselves, We keep on deceiving ourselves that if we do this way, and if we pursue this in this way, we think that, oh, this time around things will change, things will be different. They won't be different, right? Whatever it is, your religion, your whatever, doesn't matter. Even your relationship with your spouse or your partner, your significant other, your lover, like, folks, come on, like, with exceptions, of course, but most people, they get bored of their significant other. People get bored of each other. The only reason that most couples stay together is that they are afraid to be alone. And they know just how much hard work it is to start anew and find somebody else. A relationship takes work. So this is why most couples stay together. After the honeymoon phase, the puppy dog love goes away. I mean, people get bored of each other. People get irritated of one another. I mean, I have observed people who are in relationships. My God, they are so irritated and annoyed by their partners. It's just crazy. So, and you know what I think is truly it is just what is so tiring and exhausting and fatiguing about this life, this existence, this world is just everything is theatrics, folks, in the end. We all pretend. It's all theater, folks. It is all just theater in the end. And I would say that this is the most tiring aspect of life. Everything is theater. Every relationship, even the most intimate and even the most intense relationship, they are all still theatrics in the end because you want to please the other person. And I think just how tough and difficult it has to be for a young person who has reached this conclusion. I mean, this young person doesn't have anybody to talk to. I always speculated that if I told my parents how I felt when I was 12, 13, 14, I mean, they would have blown a socket. They would have they would have lost their minds. They would have beaten my ass. They would have called me ungrateful, a spoiled brat for having the audacity to tell them, having been born was a mistake. They were the type of people, old school, that they couldn't even comprehend such a thing because they thought that I had a better life than they had when they were kids. They gave me more than they had when they were kids. So they thought, I was being ungrateful. It's just, they don't understand. Nobody will ever understand, and now I'm talking to you. Nobody will ever understand you. Nobody will understand what you're going through and what has unleashed this conclusion that you're going through, this enlightenment, this knowledge. Most people will think that you are crazy. Most people will think that there's something wrong with you. And I always like to, I always use my imagination. I like to think, what would happen if, let's just say we have a couple of young parents. They're like still in their late 20s or early 30s, and their little kid, comes in the living room one day, and that little kid tells them, why did you had me, Mom and Dad? I don't really like life. I don't like what happens here. I'm not a big fan of people. I don't want to go to school. I think school is kind of just a joke. I don't want to have a career when I grow up. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 because what we do here is we pay taxes and pay bills. Generally speaking, everybody will betray you, so relationships are pretty much cooked. And then at the end, the child will say, Mom and Dad, having been born was a mistake. I don't want to be here. I don't like life. It's tiring. I'm just a little kid, and I'm already exhausted by all of this. Kindergarten was too much already. Right? What would happen? Let's just say that you were the parent. Let's just say, if you are a parent, what would you do? And what would you say to your kid who would tell you all of this? Like a 9-year-old kid or even younger comes up and tells you, man, I'm just done with everything. Why did you people have me? Why did you people give birth to me? I don't want to be here. Having been born was a mistake. I don't want to be here. But I'm stuck here because of you. Because you could not keep it in your pants. Because you could not bother yourselves to use protection. And here I am, stuck here. And I have to somehow fend for myself. Even though I don't want to. And if I could, I would remove myself from the premises. Wink, wink. If you are a parent, what would you do if your kid told you all of this? I'm so curious. Because I know what my folks would have said if I told them this, right? They would have lost their shit, okay? They would have thought that I'm depressed. It's just so funny. So funny. And recently, what motivated me to make this video is that recently, I watched a video and somebody said, she said, just think about how many individual sperm are in, a load, right? I'm being a little vulgar here, but there are like billions or trillions in a little globule, right? And out of all those trillions of individual items, specimens, only one managed to fertilize the egg, and here you are. So therefore, she concluded, you are the luckiest ever. You already won the lottery before even being born. You are absolutely special, unique. And at first I was a bit reticent, but she kind of made sense in a way. Yeah, it is like winning the lottery, being born. You are extremely lucky because you are here out of trillions of different variations. You could have been different in so many ways, even infinite ways. But here you are, you look like this, you sound like this is who you are, right? So automatically, you are extremely lucky. You won the lottery. Because out of trillions of little tadpoles who are trying to fertilize the egg, only you succeeded. And I'm just like, that makes sense, but that only makes sense if you love life, if you have a positive outlook on life. If you have a positive outlook on life, then you will say, yes, I agree, I'm lucky as hell, I'm unique, I'm special, I won the lottery, I'm lucky. Out of trillions of individuals, I managed to be born. Aren't I lucky? But I don't feel that way. Not really. I do have a tendency to be a bit more negative, but I'm not. I am not controlled by my emotions. So this is truly logic, right? I don't have a positive outlook on life, therefore I do not feel lucky. And my reply to this is, okay, so you succeeded in the competition of trillions, and only you won. Only you had the dumb luck to be born, and you think that's special, maybe. But I say, so what? So what? Right? So the little tadpole fertilized the egg, and here I am, right? And you think that's such a great thing. Well, I don't agree with that. So what? I was lucky. I won the lottery. So what? That doesn't make me happy. So you're telling me that I won, the competition, and this is what I get? This is what I get? No, absolutely not. Right? And I have to say this, I am not somebody who just sees things one way, and therefore I will say that, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, okay? There are moments and there are things in life that are all right. For example, I like sleeping a lot. Sleeping to me is God. Sleeping to me is heaven. If I can sleep 2 days in a row continuously, that to me is, I'm blessed. That is the best thing ever in life. Sometimes maybe a sexual relationship might be a wonderful, amazing thing. Even the romantic side might be wonderful. Sure, there are exceptions in life where certain moments are tremendous, of course, but the bad stuff, unfortunately, will always dwarf and outweigh the good stuff. The bad stuff will always win. In life, if you did not know, in life you only get a couple of really good moments. Really good moments that will always stay with you. The rest, I mean, this is not me trying to be edgy or anything, but for the most part, all I have are nightmares of my past, my childhood especially, my younger days. Man, my childhood, my younger days, they were a nightmare. Always afraid, always anxious, always alone. That's tough, but it is what it is, right? So, being absolutely 100% unbiased, without prejudices, okay, I am telling you that in general, having been born, unfortunately, was a mistake in my case. Maybe it is the same in your case. Maybe you feel the same way as I do. And I had my great moments. I had a few moments where I was just digging life. I was thinking, things are pretty nice now. I was happy here and there, even joy, but they didn't last. Okay, they didn't last, and the more I chased that feeling to capture that feeling again, it just never delivered. It just never delivered. No matter what I did, no matter my successes or accomplishments because, this is what happens, unfortunately. Okay, having been born was a mistake. If it were up to me, I would never give my consent to be here, whatever for, to be born here, whatever for. To do what exactly? Yeah, for a brief moment, temporary, you might be all right. But afterwards, man, life is just a roller coaster of just tiring stuff. Tiring stuff, man. I'm so tired of everything, my God. What we do here and what we bother ourselves with and how we bother other people with the same nonsense. It blows my mind. How people have the energy to continue this is just, I'm incapable of understanding. How people just keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. I can't do it. It's just, if I had the power, I would, end things immediately. I would correct this mistake. It is what it is. This is what it is. Why parents, couples, why they think it is such a splendid thing, such a genius, big-brained move to have children, to bring children in this world. I don't understand why people bring children in this world. To do what? To experience misery? To experience pain? To experience loss? To be belittled and mocked? To be hurt and injured? And maybe feel happy once or twice. For this? Is this why people bring children into this world? It cannot be fathomed why this happens. I guess most people are brainless fools who do not understand the consequences of their actions. Most people do not understand that by bringing a child into this world, there is a 99% probability that your child will be absolutely miserable. And if you have been paying attention now, younger and younger generations, younger and younger people are getting sad. They're miserable. Gen Z, like now, kids in diapers are going to be depressed and suicidal soon enough. And why is that the way that it is because people now are starting to realize what I have known for a lot of years, which is that all of this is not it, folks. It's not it. Like the only way that I think I could be truly all right is that to be in the forest, in the wilderness, no people whatsoever. I think that this would be the way for me to continue on living. No people, no cities, no noise, just nature and birds and the wind. This is what I need. I need the jungle. I need wilderness. No people whatsoever. This is the way to be. Because otherwise, existence is just mundane nothing. Mundane nothing. Right? And as you grow older, you should realize that nothing really matters here. You thought that if you dressed this way, and you thought that your clique of friends, oh man, you were just popping off. None of that mattered. None of that mattered. Nothing that you said or did mattered, and they will never ever matter. Okay? Hopefully this video will, I don't know, help somebody, uplift somebody. I don't know. I guess it's nice to know that other people might feel the same way that I do, maybe. Hopefully this video and this topic will not come across as being just the insane ramblings of a depressed suicidal maniac. Hopefully not, because this is not what this is at all. Okay, we're being serious here. Basically, I think that having children, bringing children into this slaughterhouse of a life, this endless loop of a life, is the greatest crime against humanity ever, because it's such a great risk. You never know what's gonna happen. And most of the time, unfortunately, as you know or should know, your child will suffer without a shadow of a doubt. And all of that suffering and pain is possible because people just couldn't be bothered to keep it in their pants. They couldn't be bothered to wear protection. And so children are born and they go through the ringer in this world, in this life. And they have to fend for themselves, and they have to get a job, and they have to be humiliated every step of the way. This is what happens to your children, folks. Every step of the way. Your kids will be made fun of. They will be humiliated in every way, fashion, and form. They will be mocked and derided by other people. Just because they exist. Just because you had to have children. Right? This is what we do here. This is what we do here. These are the great things that we do here. And yes, on occasion we have a genius here, a genius there who do tremendous things, of course, but, they're rare. And if you have noticed, folks, and I guess this is the great summary of this video. See, I am an observer. I observe things. And I have watched for at least 2 decades now that people generally aren't happy at all. They're miserable. People in general are just down, spiteful, bitter, malicious little, dingbats. They're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're not satisfied. They're mean. They're mean creatures. People are mean creatures. And you're telling me living is such a great thing? Well, if living was such a fantastic experience, then how come the result shows that most people are miserable? If life is such a great thing, why are most people just so damn hateful and sad all the time? And why do they lash out? It's because life isn't that amazing, right? And because people are generally dumb. But anyway, right? The proof is in the pudding. So, having been born was a tremendous mistake of the highest order. But, here we are, folks. We're still beating on. We're still doing our best, I guess. Some of us aren't doing anything. Unfortunately, we do not have what it takes to eliminate ourselves, and that's fine. Whatever. The only advice that I can give is just don't take everything so seriously. Don't care so much. Don't put your heart into everything. How I manage to stay afloat is that I don't care about anything and I do not do anything at all. This is how I manage to exist. Because otherwise, I wouldn't be here today, and I say that with a clean conscience, doesn't bother me at all. It is what it is. And I always say, we're here today, and then we're not. We're here today, we're gone tomorrow. On occasion, I enjoy a smoke. I enjoy a glass of wine or some beer. Sometimes I read a book. Sometimes I write books. Maybe I listen to some music. But generally, I'm just tired. I can't be bothered. I am indifferent to everything and everyone. I don't feel anything about anything anymore, and that is the only way to be. That is the only way to be. Because I would say that my way of existing is the direct result of this enlightenment, which is being born was a mistake. This is what happens, because otherwise you become an automaton, a robot, a drone, or you go crazy. Okay. So yeah, if life is too much for you, if you are not having a good time, if you're just down in the pits and you're struggling and you're just not managing to lift yourself up, remember that what you've gone through and what you're going through right now, others have experienced. And I always say this: whatever it is that is troubling you, whatever it is, and I know it's painful, remember this: it could have been much worse. Remember that. Whatever your pain is, remember, it could have been much worse. It could have been much worse, thousandfold worse. I'm not trying to make light of your pain and suffering, but remember, it could have been much worse. It could have been much worse for all of us, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We take it, and we live another day. That's the only thing that we can do for the time being. We are here because it was out of our hands, out of our control. Certain forces brought us here, and we had no clue whatsoever what to do with ourselves. Some of us still don't know what to do with ourselves, and I guess this is the source of a lot of anguish and agony. But I've been through all of that. I've been suicidal for years, got over it. Now I'm chill, and I'm waiting for Armageddon. I'm waiting for the apocalypse. I'm waiting for World War III. I'm waiting for all of this to end, because it is just an eyesore, and it is also disappointing, and this is, and I'll end it with this, not only was being born just the greatest mistake ever, but once you're here, you realize that everything is disappointing as well. So not only your birth was a mistake, but what you were born into turned out to be a major disappointment. Everything is disappointing. Everything is tiring. And I guess if we are to say that if there is a purpose in this realm, in this, I don't know, simulation, prison, whatever this is, if there is a purpose here, I guess our purpose should be to disengage, to divorce ourselves from reality and from care. This is the only way to be. I guess this is the only purpose, the only goal, is that to cease to be invested here, to remove all of our attachments, right? I guess this is it. This has to be it, right? But that's about it. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. The link will be down below. If the link does not work, you can search my name, Griffith Samsara. Thanks for watching. See ya.